Sea Breeze FM is calling. Sea Breeze. Sea Breeze FM is calling. Our format mix will fill ya. We promise we will bring ya all the best around the clock. 24/7. Ha ha ha. Sea Breeze. Sea Breeze FM is calling. Come on over, tune on in. You don't know what you're missing. Feel the breeze, sit back, relax. Love and music to the max. Sea Breeze. Sea Breeze FM is calling. Check us out. Listen to the beats. Crank it up, move your feet. Can you feel the heat? Sea Breeze. Sea Breeze FM is calling. Sea Breeze. Sea Breeze FM is calling. Calling to you. Sea Breeze FM is calling.
Can you feel the heat on Seabreeze FM?
Hi, I'm radio announcer Gwen Redding from 91.9 FM WCLK, and I love listening to Stu and Victoria on Seabreeze.
Well, good morning, Humatangi. Nice to have your company this morning. Bang on the hour of 9 o'clock here in New Zealand and over in Washington, D.C. Yep, they're dead right. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and sitting over there getting ready to take the airwaves by strong storm is none other than the lovely Victoria Gaither sitting over there waiting for me to push the fader up. But I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give her a special welcome this morning here on Seabreeze. So, hey, have a tune into this. There we are, the thunder rolls. The thunder rolls. We've got the drum parade. We've got the lot. Hello, Vicky. How are you?
That was a surprise. You should have seen my face when the sound came up. I thought, is this the same show? Am I on a different program? What is going on?
Wasn't that a great welcoming?
That was a great welcoming. I think we should do that every single week now. Every week I want that. I'm special. I deserve it.
You're not that special. You're not that special.
That is not nice, dude, Frith. This is supposed to be a nice, show of cooperation between America and New Zealand. But anyway, I really like that. That was very nice. Thank you very much. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm firing on all 10 cylinders. I'm feeling extremely good. How are you? Apart from being cold.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. Was it a couple of days ago? I was telling you how warm it's been here in Washington and on the East Coast. And today, I've got a long sleeve shirt on. I've got a sweater. As you can see, I'm all sort of zipped up to my neck. It is freezing. It's so cold that I think I'm going to break down and have to turn the heat on in the house. I'm a wimp. I know. It's that cold, though, Stu. I can't take it.
Good God. You're coming into your summer. Come on.
I know.
Hey?
Somehow summer decided to disappear for a few days. I think summer will return this weekend, but literally, I'm not kidding you. It's that cold. Yeah,
Is that right?
I'm not kidding you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Hey, tell me, before you get into all your news, do you people over there in America, do you celebrate Queen's birthday? Queen's birthday week?
No, we do not. But I've been seeing things on your Facebook page and in the New Zealand's papers about Queen's Day. So tell me about that.
Well, it's Queen's birthday weekend, this weekend. But I can never work it out. But it's not actually her birthday anyway.
Really?
So, I suppose.
Now, so do are businesses closed or banks closed? Do people get a day out of it at least?
I think the banks are closed. I think the shops are still open. Yeah, the shops are still open. But it is a public holiday. So the people that are running the shops will be paying extra money to have staff on board. Restaurants, I think a lot of restaurants put surcharges on meals. If you're going to have a waiter order your meal, you get hit with a surcharge. There's been a bit of a stink about the old surcharge in the restaurants, But, yeah, I think it does happen here and there, but not as much as what it was looking like. I think people now have just sort of built it into the food, and it's in there 12 months of the year, and the public don't realise it. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, I have a solution for you. And, of course, this is a story that you and I talked about a couple of days ago. If you just use robots to serve the food, then perhaps you wouldn't have to worry about these things, right?
Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
You got to admit, it's not a bad idea. We just talked about that a couple of days ago, but I am very, very well. And again, for those of you that are joining us in Himatani Beach area, very good morning to you. And if you're listening on the internet, no matter where you're listening in the world, good morning, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you, Stu and I do welcome you. So let me get to the news. Yesterday, President Obama, speaking to graduating students at West Point in New York, outlined his foreign policy for the future. He says America will pull back from what he calls, quote, military adventures, end of quote, while yielding American power in other ways. The president described the new American foreign policy as of, quote, collective action, end of quote, and restraint, deploying unilateral U.S. military forces only when the American people are threatened. He also talked about ending combat operations in Afghanistan and keeping 10,000 troops in that country in 2015 if the Afghan government signs an agreement to that effect. The U.S. has been in Afghanistan for more than 12 years, the longest war in our history. And there was a lot of sort of talk about that, Stu, on social networking. And I would certainly have to say the consensus of most people when it comes to Afghanistan is simple, one phrase: bring our troops home, get out of there. So I'm sure a lot of people are really happy that some of those troops are going to be coming home. But there again, you know, you've got 10,000 that could end up staying there as well. So we'll have to see what happens there. Now, meanwhile, Secretary of State John Kerry said Wednesday the United States is setting up a $5 billion, quote, terrorism partnership fund, end of quote, to help other countries push back against radical extremists. Speaking on morning shows, Kerry also defended the president's decision to terminate the U.S. combat role in Afghanistan that we just talked about by the end of the year. Now, I don't know how they're going to sort of dish this money out, Stu. $5 billion is a lot of money. And you and I both know, and I just know this from a journalist covering this, and you just know this from being a citizen, that most of the time, you know, no matter what country it is, whenever you start talking millions and billions, you know, people are always concerned that the money never goes to where it's supposed to. There's always this sort of corruption somewhere within that process that takes place, and it's never going to get to where it's supposed to. So I am hoping this terrorism partnership fund, that there's going to be a tremendous amount of accountability as a result of this going forward in that.
I know what you mean. I've seen it many times, haven't we? Many times. All the big funds come in, but by the time they go through and all the associates get their little dig out of it, well, not their little dig, their big dig out of it, there's very little to go on to where it's meant to go.
Exactly. And an example of that was a story that we did, I don't know if it was this week or last week, because again, all of these sort of run in my head together, about the donation that Zuckerberg of Facebook gave to the New Jersey school system, millions of dollars, and it ended up, most of it going to consultants. These consultants were charging $1,000 an hour, so none of the money ever went really to the students in the schools. And the test scores never improved in those districts where this money was supposed to go. In fact, I think in some cases, test scores got worse than actually getting better. So that's a prime example of what we're talking about. So the mass killing near Santa Barbara, California, has prompted a proposal to create a, quote, gun violence restraining order, end of quote, that would temporarily bar a mentally unstable person from buying or possessing firearms after family, partners, or friends call police. The legislation is designed to prevent mass killings similar to last week's rampage that left 7 dead, including the suspected killer. Of course, gun right advocates will likely challenge the proposal and fight it. So we'll have to see where that is going to go. Stu, I don't know if you got a chance to see, but it was just very, very teary-eyed watching the father of one of the students who was actually killed, and that was his only son. And I just remember seeing him, that father, on CNN, sort of making this plea about his son and how we haven't done anything in this country when it comes to gun laws. And everybody's been talking about the pain that it was clear that you could see on this father's face. Do you remember, did they show that news clip over there of the father?
Yeah, they did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw that. Wasn't that just, you could literally feel his pain coming through that television.
Yeah, couldn't you? Yeah. It was very hard going.
It was very hard going and very sad. And again, for him, that's his only son. That's his only child.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Even. Yeah. Just. Oh God. Yeah. It's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It just makes it. Yeah, it makes that story even worse than what it is. Now, in Pakistan, a 3-month-old pregnant woman is beaten to death by her relatives outside a court building because she decided to elope. The 25-year-old went to elope with the man she loved rather than marry the groom chosen by her family. She was killed in the name of honor on the grounds her actions have brought shame to her family. Human rights groups are calling on Pakistan's government to work harder to stop such killings and to do a better job of protecting women from violence. In a report, 869 women were stoned to death last year. That number, I can't really say that it surprised me, but it did surprise me. We only hear about these sort of things in the case of when it happened now, because the woman was 3-month-old pregnant at the time when it happened to her. But yeah, 869 women in Pakistan are stoned to death or killed to death each year in the name of honor.
Bloody honor. God.
Yeah, exactly. And what's even more so interesting about it is that I think it's very rare that any of those cases ever go to court. And when they do go to court, the family members are found not guilty.
Yeah. Yeah, shocking, isn't it? I don't know. It's just mind-boggling, isn't it? What goes on over in those countries, What about that girl, that young teenager that got raped by 6 guys on that bus? Do you remember that case?
Yeah, vaguely I do. Yeah,
and well, they went up before the beat, but what happened after that? Nothing. You haven't heard a damn thing,
Right.
And
I think that case you're talking about was in India.
India, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah. It's sort of memories are marinated in my brain now. It was in India, and you're absolutely right. They did take it to court, and they were found not guilty. And actually, I think the husband was one of the ones that actually assaulted her, and he even said that he would take her back. Yeah, it was some sort of twist like that in the story.
God, unbelievable. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sick, isn't it? The world is going mad,
It certainly does appear that way. I don't know if it appears that way because when I am on International Connection, I have to tell you all the bad things mostly that go on in the world. So it's kind of like, there's Victoria, the journalist. She's going to tell us bad stuff. But I do try to balance it out at the end of the newscast with some good stuff. But continuing on with our bad news this morning, embattled LA Clipper owner Donald Sterling has a few things to say to the NBA or the National Basketball Association. Sterling and his legal team argue that the remarks at the center of the league's case against him were, quote, illegally recorded and were made during what he considers a lover's quarrel with a companion. This is in response to the NBA's formal charges that he had engaged in conduct that damaged the league and its partners. Sterling made racist comments about African Americans who also make up a majority of his basketball team. His lawyer said the billionaire isn't interested in selling that team and that basically he is going to fight this to the end. Now, that doesn't surprise me about Donald Sterling if you kind of know his background and anything about him. And he's a billionaire. He's got all the money in the world, Stu, that if he wants to fight this, he can. But according to what lawyers and scholars are saying that are following this story here in America, he just doesn't have a chance because literally there is that sort of clause within the contract when you do own a team that says that, you can't engage in any, misconduct that's going to damage the league and the partner. So I think that specific line is sort of what they're going to use to, make sure that he just can't keep the team. But it's interesting that, he's stubborn. That man's going to fight this all the way. He is not backing down 1 second over this.
Do you think he'll lose? I don't think he will. I think he'll win this.
You think so? No, I think he's going to lose.
Yeah.
And I'm only basing that on